the current president, in case you've forgotten that. Some of us perhaps have, because he seems to be MIA, while the incoming president is stepping up and claiming the limelight. He did lay out, though, his administration's plan on Twitter, also known as X. Biden says new opportunities are now opening up for the people of Syria and for the entire region. Looking ahead, the United States will do the following. First, we will engage with Syrian groups, including within the process led by the United Nations, to establish the transition away from the Assad regime toward an independent, sovereign Syria. Second, we will help ensure stability in eastern Syria, protecting our personnel against any threats. Remember, those troops still there. We will maintain our mission against ISIS. Third, we will support Syria's neighbors, including Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Israel, should any threat arise from Syria during this period of transition. And finally, we will remain vigilant. Now, let's just pause there if we can quickly, Brett, because I feel like Biden's statement on Twitter should have come with just yeah, but all of this is prefaced by what Donald Trump is going to do in about 40 some days. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. First, let's find out what the incoming leader says, because that's who people and other world leaders seem to be listening to. So we'll see. Now, Biden did say yesterday he will try to save American journalist Austin Tice, who disappeared in Syria in 2012. Here's the statement. We are mindful that there are Americans in Syria, Biden said Sunday, including those who reside there, as well as Austin Tice, who was taken captive more than 12 years ago, who reside there, as well as Austin Tice, who was taken captive. As we said, we believe he's alive. We think we can get him back, but we have no direct evidence of that yet. So the family certainly reacting to that, Tice's family. It's been a long road for them. His sister said that there have been, quote, independent, trusted sources that have verified he's healthy, well, although his family does not know his whereabouts. That just must be excruciating for them. Yes, there's hope, right? Because the regime has fallen, the al-Assad regime, but at the same time, where is he? What happens next? It doesn't mean that everybody who's an enemy of the ousted regime is a friend to this U.S. journalist and seeing him come back home. 2019, Trump withdrew U.S. forces from Syria, allowing for a Turkish invasion of the north of the country, but conducted a partial reversal. He did. Trump has signaled he wants to withdraw U.S. troops from the northern Syria, according to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whom Trump has tapped to be his Secretary of Health and Human Services. Quote, get them out, Trump reportedly said. It's not very nuanced, his approach to foreign policy, but there it is. And here's the reaction on Truth Social. Assad is gone. He has fled his country. His protector, Russia, 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 he does like to say it 3 times, led by Vladimir Putin, was not interested in protecting him any longer. There was no reason for Russia to be there in the first place. They lost all interest in Syria. Trump also added in another truth, stupid. In any event, Syria is a mess, but it's not our friend. The United States should have nothing to do with it. This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved. And Trump's little buddy from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, senator, has long opposed Trump's approach to Syria. He's already posted a series of tweets. You see them. We'll throw them up for you. I appreciate the airstrikes against ISIS targets in Syria, but it will not be enough. I have to ensure the roughly 50,000 ISIS prisoners in northeastern Syria, being primarily held by Kurdish forces, are not released. And he goes on and on from there. The reemergence of ISIS, and another one, is a national security nightmare for America and our allies. Senator Graham on the situation. 2019, warmonger Graham ripped into Trump, though, remember, for pulling troops out of Syria, claiming ISIS hadn't been completely destroyed in Syria. The truth is, American bases in Syria and in neighboring Iraq ostensibly exist to conduct counter-ISIS missions, despite the fact the Pentagon concluded in 2021 that the Islamic State in Syria probably lacks the capability to target the U.S. homeland. So a lot going on there, Brett. I'll go to you for final thoughts. Lindsey Graham, who we're used to his pivots, his moonwalking back, his full-fledged twirls on issues. But what do you make of what Congress might do, what the Senate might do, the Foreign Relations Committee and the House might do or say or advise the incoming president about all of this?
Well, the House and Senate people who typically ask for more money for the military are going to continue to ask for more money in the military. And the people like Donald Trump, who are basically completely clueless about international relations, will continue to do a marketing plea. So if you look at Trump's tweet, right, or bleat or wherever he did it on True Social, that is someone who he doesn't know anything about foreign policy, right? But what he does know is that a major contingent of his voting base doesn't want us involved in stuff. But the thing about folks like that is the security of American interests in the Middle East is not important to them. The winning or losing of us versus Russia in a proxy war in Syria is not that important to them. That is us being able to say, I am anti-war and anti-American intervention, and we shouldn't waste money abroad, we should spend it here. Those folks are going to be happy if with that kind of language, right? But the thing about foreign policy issues is ignorance is absolute bliss, because then you can be an expert, you can be Joe Rogan and be like, what are we even doing there? But the more you find out about this stuff, the more you realize how complicated it is. And the one factor in all that, and what I've been saying on the show a lot lately and what I will continue to say, is Americans want to feel rich and they want to feel safe. The one Achilles heel in the Trump argument is America feeling safe. And the final S in ISIS is literally Syria. ISIS, there's ISIL, which is the Islamic State in Levant, which is more the Israel side. The ISIS is the Islamic State in Syria, and power vacuums in Syria lead to the growth of ISIS. America getting out of there in the past created a big hole that ISIS filled. And so after that happened, like Americans started feeling less safe because they feared another 9/11, basically. And that is the Achilles heel for all of this. Trump's gonna say, let's get out of Syria, but he said, let's get out of Afghanistan. And he didn't get out of Afghanistan. It was very risky for him to get out of Afghanistan. Then look back at Biden. Biden's got two major wins, right? If you're like a neo-lib / neocon or whatever, Biden's win is, I beat Russia in the proxy war in Syria, suck it, losers. And the other one is, I got out of Afghanistan. I don't care what you said, but a bunch of people who are pro-Trump end up coming around to the same thing I was talking about with, like, I feel less safe because ISIS, they feel less safe because Taliban. And the result is like, dude, like, I'm sure there's some kind of very complicated dominant strategy for our action, where our presence in the Middle East and beyond. It's just Trump isn't gonna do anything for that, except when he gets confused, he'll listen to the generals, and then he'll call his generals stupid and market to the crowd and say, like, I'm just getting us out all this crap, period.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. And the generals who perhaps have expertise, perhaps not up to your level, Brett, who are going to be ousted day one or gradually, well, rapidly probably ousted because Trump doesn't trust certain people. So yeah, you're right. He's not going to take the advice anyway, but many worry if there will be anybody in place who has the courage to speak up to our dictator, incoming dictator, or have the expertise to even advise him. So it seems to be a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, and we'll see what happens. I wish the outgoing president, Joe Biden, would talk like that, would be quoted, suck it. Because perhaps his legacy would be on more solid ground with the wins that he's gotten.